Before we start today's episode of the I'm F.I.N.E podcast, we want to make sure to thank our partners at Trio. Don't wait. Be ready and connect with Trio. FAFSA applications are now open, and the sooner you apply, the higher the chances you have of receiving the full grant. The Trio staff at Governors State University are the perfect people to help. Trio can help with the financial aid process and scholarship searches. Trio can provide fee waivers for admissions applications, assist with the admission application processes, online tutoring, help with GED referrals, and provide payments for the GED test. Trio provides various avenues for career explorations, as well as resume and interview preparation. Trio can also help you understand and complete your FAFSA application. If you're ready to take the next step on your educational journey, contact Trio at 708-235-3352 for more information, or visit their website at www.govst.edu/TRIOEOC. Welcome to another episode of the I'm F.I.N.E podcast, where a couple of knuckle-dragging veterans unpack the world of mental health as unprofessionally and informally as possible. I am Eric Peterson.
And I'm Brad Stozick.
And we are your slightly grundled Sherpas who hope to take you from being freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional to hopefully truly being fine. And on today's episode, it's going to be all about being socially awkward. We're going to talk about its impact on mental health and well-being, explore the challenges of social awkwardness, identify strategies for coping and improving social skills, provide support and encouragement for anybody navigating those social interactions, and of course, share a shit ton of embarrassing stories.
Welcome to the I'm F.I.N.E podcast with your freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional hosts, Eric Peterson and Brad Stozick.
Second time's a charm.
Take two.
But we had another great lead into this one. So we recorded this episode yesterday. Half recorded.
Oh, God, it was so good.
We did the whole thing, and I looked over, and I did not hit the record on the audio. It was my fault. And this is why we need to get Jake back in here.
We do.
And we should have never let him go.
Nope.
Never.
Nope.
Because I've been fucking it up.
Hey, but we're doing our best.
We're doing our best. And before last episode and before this episode opened up with you making a racist Asian joke. That's cool.
Bro.
It brought me into this episode good. And before we got here, when I picked you up,
yeah.
What did you say when we were driving? And I get over I'm driving, obviously. Brad's sitting passenger princess.
Always.
I'm driving to my house. And then as we get over the overpass, you go, sex. And I was like, fucking what?
Yeah. Like if you drive through a yellow light, you hit the roof, and then the last person to hit the roof and say sex has to take a piece of clothing off. So I guess I was playing by myself. I hit the roof and said sex. And I said, what are you taking off, big boy?
And I just I sat there. I thought about it. I let it marinate for a second. And I was just like, this is a great lead into this fucking episode, buddy. Yep.
See, I didn't know that was being socially awkward.
I think, dude, we could spend this entire episode just talking about times being fucking socially awkward.
Yes.
It's a problem. Some people have this misconception that I really like doing stuff in public, like doing stuff for the nonprofit, going out speaking, doing all that stuff. And don't get me wrong, I do like it, but I feel like I am very socially awkward. Like it's hard for me. I've said this before. If I've ever done anything socially awkward around you, I think about it to this day, no matter when the fuck it was. Every day I think about those moments. You know what I mean? And so I thought that talking about being socially awkward would be a good idea for an episode, especially because, and I'm going to share some of these stories a little bit later, but there's been multiple times like recently where I've just noticed how fucking awkward I am. And then it just screamed out to me like, I need to fucking do an episode about this. Just talk about this, right? So the first thing to understanding social awkwardness is we need to define it, right? So I found a few different definitions, and the one I liked the most was this one. So according to King University Online, social awkwardness is the feeling we experience when we believe that our desire for being accepted by others is threatened in a given situation. This feeling incites us to turn inward, increase our self-monitoring, and attempt to behave in ways that will better our chances for acceptance. That's what being socially awkward is. That is such a great description.
Oh, absolutely.
I think. You know what I mean? Because that's how I feel. I mean, I don't know. You said something to me that was very interesting about being socially awkward, in that one of the biggest parts about it for you now is
I don't
know when.
Yeah, I can't tell.
Awkward.
Yeah, because I can't pick up on people's like facial cues, which is like the biggest indicator that someone doesn't want to talk to you anymore.
And I didn't think about that at all until you mentioned it. And then I was thinking about all the social cues that are there. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much you kind of got to see, other than just hearing a voice getting farther and farther away from you when you're talking. It's like, how do you know that somebody doesn't want to talk to you anymore?
I don't know.
So you so you get to be awkward all the time.
I just keep talking.
Just hoping someone's there.
Yeah. It's kind of like a Forrest Gump situation, you know? Just on the bench. And
he wasn't blind. But he just, you mean just because he talked a bunch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that.
What?
I don't know. I think sometimes I wish that, I don't know. I when I was reading the definition about it, it talked to me, like, it goes on to talk about how it can be positive.
Yeah.
But when I read some of the positive stuff, I was like, this kind of fucking sounds stupid. Like, it doesn't sound positive. It sounds like somebody's trying to make me feel better about being socially awkward. Like, being socially awkward would be the best, like, if that could be your superpower, like you were socially awkward, man, like that would be the best Avenger. Like, I would be a really good, you know what I'm saying?
You just
like,
make everyone feel uncomfortable.
There needs to be that. There needs to be a socially awkward, like, Marvel's pretty woke, right? So why not like a socially awkward superhero where like everybody's getting ready, like fight Thanos. Like you show up, you're like, hey man, I brought empanadas for everybody. And everybody's like, what? We got to go fight Thanos, man. It's like, oh, all right. The guys are like, I mean, if you want us to eat them, we'll eat them. And you're like, I mean, we don't have to eat them now. Now you made it a whole fucking situation while Thanos is fucking destroying the world. You know what I mean? Socially awkward, man.
It's yes, that would be fantastic.
You do know what I mean. See, so
I do.
Also, according to an article on psychcentral.com, this was by psychologist Tai Tashiro. He wrote a book called Awkward, The Science of Why We're Socially Awkward and Why That's Awesome. And he said around 15% of people have social skill challenges and communication difficulties that are considered to make them socially awkward. In many cases, social awkwardness comes from extreme anxiety. Social anxiety is more than just feeling shy. The National Institute of Mental Health reports that 12.1 of U.S. adults experience a social anxiety disorder at some time in their lives. So, some signs of being socially awkward. This is according to that same website. If you're in a social situation, social awkwardness may mean that you are fidgeting, sweating, having difficulties talking, feeling self-conscious, avoiding eye contact, unable to read body language, and just overall feeling anxious. What?
So every interaction is socially awkward for me.
For you?
Yeah. I can't read body language.
Right.
Can't see the facial. But I guess that's different.
But are you fidgeting all the time?
Not really.
Sweating a lot?
No.
That's not bad. You don't have difficulty talking.
No.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I create my own social awkwardness though.
Well, we all do.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, I just will say random things.
Like sex. Like when you did that?
Yeah. Like, I'll just say random stuff and people are like, dude, what? Why? Story time.
Well, what do you got? What's your story?
Oh, man. So
what's your first story? We need to keep track.
All right. So we're in taking a break in between meals and we're all hanging out. And for some reason, the sergeant was like, hey, Stozy.
In the Marines.
Yeah, in the Marines. Yeah. he goes, hey, Stozic, would you suck a dick for $1 billion? I go, Sergeant, I took 3 dicks for $1 billion. Awkward silence. He goes, why? Why would you suck more dicks, Stozic? I was like, well, no, I wouldn't, but I was just.
Not 3 dicks, not right now in the alley before we got to get to formation. That's not what I was talking about. You know what I mean?
What I was trying to get at,
volleyball.
Dude, what I was trying to get at was like, hey, I would do pretty much anything for $1 billion. I just don't know why I added more wieners to the equation.
Very specific. And what would have made it better is if that's how many guys you were around when you said that. If like it was 3 guys.
There probably was, dude. There probably was.
Well, again, though, but the thing is, when that shit happens in the military, if anything, you're going to get a call sign out of it. Like, that's how call signs happen. Like, people, I feel like in the movies, people always have these like badass fucking call signs, like animal and fucking country, big country and all that other stuff. And there are those.
Yeah.
There are guys that have those call signs. But like, I feel like there's a lot of guys that have fucked up call signs because they fucked something up.
Yeah.
Did something stupid or said something stupid, right?
Yep.
But no, in the military, when you say awkward shit, I don't really think anybody gives a fuck. I mean, they do initially. They're going to laugh and fuck with you about it, but then they're going to forget about it because somebody else is going to do something stupid. Like, there's a bunch of you living together all of the time. You're with somebody 24/7. And when you are that, I think you're more forgiving of others because you need people to be more forgiving towards you. Like, you're going to be yourself. You're going to say goofy shit. You're going to say quirky shit. And people just accept. I mean, hopefully, again, individual experience may vary, but hopefully you were just accepted for who you were. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I have a problem, and I've been trying to get better at it with avoiding eye contact. Like, I'll do that a lot in conversations. I used to be really bad about it. I don't know why. But a lot of the times when I'm talking to somebody, my gaze will just drift. Like, I just can't keep eye contact. I don't know why that is. I don't know if I feel self-conscious about it or whatever, but I've noticed that I do that. And like, we've talked about social anxiety disorder before, and we've talked about, you know, some other things before, like embarrassment and stuff. And for me, a lot of my stuff stems from the fact that despite growing up in a very positive environment, despite going to schools where I had mostly good relationships, but I got bullied a lot because I'm Asian. Like, I got bullied I was always the different one, always. You know what I mean? Like, there was never a time where I felt like I was around a bunch of people that looked just like me. That never fucking happened once. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so being around that all the time and then getting bullied and shit. And I know every kid gets bullied, but you know, and that's what I would get bullied about, obviously. It was like, it wears on you, I think, over time. And I really associated attention with like negative feelings. So even if I am doing something positive or getting attention for something positive, like, I would have a weird reaction to it. Or like, even after getting any sort of praise or anything, I would just immediately get super like depressed or like self-conscious. It was weird. It's fucking weird. But like, that issue causes me to still have those fucking just awkward moments, I think. Yeah. A lot of the time. You know what I mean? It's all that trauma and shit like that. A couple other things that I found that can cause or that are some signs of being socially awkward. And this was back to that article on King University Online. So I like these ones too, because these ones were a little bit different. These are, again, symptoms of being socially awkward, according to that Dr. Tai Tashiro. He said, socially awkward individuals fail to notice minor social expectations, find routine social situations difficult to traverse. Here's the ones that weren't listed on the other website: can have unusually intense focus, particularly on topics governed by rules such as logic or mathematics. When we talked about that before, like, immediately I was like, oh, bro, I know somebody who is socially awkward, and I didn't think about this symptom or whatever being a part of being socially awkward, because we both know the same veteran.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, yeah, that makes sense. Another one, often shows enthusiasm for taking things apart, studying the components, then methodically reassembling the parts differently, and are less intuitive when it comes to social graces. So yes, and those are all really good too, because again, you wouldn't think about some of those necessarily being symptoms of being socially awkward. You know what I mean? But there are so many social cues that they're important to understand. And like, because of the things that I've done in my work history, especially being a private investigator, private investigator, executive protection, anything where you're dealing with like security, you have to be able to pick up on social cues because you're looking for that one motherfucker that's acting different than everybody else.
Yeah.
So like, you got to be on top of your social cue understanding. But it's like, then when you come back to the civilian world, I don't know, it's just so much harder. You just feel like you're awkward. I don't know. I think it's...
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, because you can't be like, half the shit that you say in front of your buddies in the military, you can't say. Is that what you're getting at? Like,
yes.
Yeah, you can't like be you.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I have a hard time. I don't know.
People would judge you.
Well, I don't know. And some other factors that contribute to social awkwardness among veterans are also, again, experiences of trauma, transitions from military to civilian life, difficulties adjusting to social norms outside of the military context. But yeah, it's because... What? What are you shaking your head about?
No, I was just thinking like it's just so weird. Everything that happened in the military, you just think is normal. Like, because anything can happen. And you're just like, yeah, okay, cool.
Well, and it happens during the formative years of your life. So you don't really know that that's not how the rest of the world works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think.
Dude, like my biggest one was I didn't realize that. So we got 2.5 days of leave a month. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that people as civilians got like half a day.
Oh, right.
Like a month. I'm like, what?
Right.
Like, no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, no, I can take a month of leave in like 2 weeks. Like, I know. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What was the one that you told me about when you were in Japan? The STD?
Oh, yeah. So when you get to Japan, you go through all these safety briefs, and one of the last things they tell you is, if you guys want to go home, don't have sex with random Japanese people. You'll get black syphilis, and then you have to stay. You can't come back to America. So I'm like, yeah, right. You made that shit up. Like, that's not right. Like, that's not real.
Right.
So fast forward to my brother-in-law's bachelor party, where you are in attendance,
where we met.
Yes, we did. Yes.
Yeah. Years ago.
We're in this restaurant. And it's a very small restaurant. Like it's a wall, a bench, and then like really close tables.
Like diner style.
Yeah. And one of the guys we're with looks to the girl next to him, complete stranger, goes, "Man, that sandwich looks good. Let me have a bite." And I go, "Oh, you're going to get black syphilis. You're eating a stranger's sandwich." And her friend goes, "Excuse me?
Yeah.
You're white privilege. You can just say whatever you want."
Yeah, bro.
And I was like, whoa.
But hey, man, you said that in Chicago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, somebody was going to get
in
you.
Like Wrigleyville too.
We were in Wrigleyville. Yeah. And I remember she fucking tore into you. I was like, jeez. Yeah. But again, you weren't saying it to mean a black as in black people.
No.
You were just like, you heard it was called black syphilis in the Marines, and you're like, that's what it's called, I guess.
Yeah.
You just assume that that's a thing.
Yep.
Yeah. And you don't think anything of it. Like, when I came home, again, the military fucked with my sense of humor so much and all of that. That's like, I don't know if somebody's fucking with me sometimes. So like, I had a neighbor in our old place, and he was outside grilling one day, and I was like taking my dog out, and he looks over and he's like, "Hey, what's up, Eric?" I'm like, "Hey, not much, man. How are you?" And he goes, "Oh, not much. I'm grilling spam." And then he like looked at me and like made this weird face, and I was like, "Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, like spam and eggs, or you like grill it up. You know, it's not too bad. It's a little salty. You know what I mean?" Like, I didn't think he was fucking. I didn't understand. He's like, "No, I was joking." I was like, "Oh, you know." gotta do one of those. And it's just fucking awkward. And then I walk into the house and I'm like, I'm never going outside again.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, but to my point, it was a dumb joke.
Yeah, that was not good.
But it's like when people tell you shit, you're just like, all right, you have no fucking idea.
No.
Because you've been told so much goofy shit, dumb shit. People, the orders that you've been given to do things that are ridiculous and don't make any fucking sense. But somebody who gets paid way more than you is like making the decision to do this shit. And you're like, all right.
How bad did they mess with you at boot camp?
What do you mean?
Like how bad did what you call them, drill sergeants?
Drill sergeants, yeah.
How bad did they like mess with you?
Like physically? Or what are we talking about?
Like mentally, like emotionally, like
oh, they try to break you.
Yeah.
It's the whole goal. The goal is to break you.
Yeah,
like,
but
especially I was at Fort Benning, you know. So
it's not as hard as the Marines though. Like it's
oh my God.
No, I'm just like for real though. Like I've seen YouTube videos.
I'm sure that Marine boot camp is very difficult. I'm sure. But Army boot camp, especially if you're in Fort Benning,
yeah,
like it's infantry all the whole way. When you go to AIT for infantry, but he's still in boot camp, like, dude, I think it's pretty fucking,
yeah,
I think it's pretty fucking rough for sure. I don't know what it's like at other bases. I've heard plenty of stories at Fort Leonard Wood, Lost in the Woods, and where else? There's a couple other ones that I can't think of. But I mean, I don't know.
Huh.
Why? How?
I've just seen YouTube videos where there's like the differences between like the Army boot camp and the Marine boot camp. But like they would just make us play games and do dumb stuff. Like I remember one time I had to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
And the Jones was like, first of all, you had to like request permission to speak.
Yeah.
Or like this recruit requests permission to, and then
and that definitely sets you up for being socially awkward as fuck when you get home.
Yeah.
You got to announce yourself that you want to talk.
Yeah.
Like,
you have to request permission. You don't even get to say your name.
Yeah.
Dude, if you said Jesus Christ, it was the end of the world.
Right.
You would get destroyed.
Yeah.
But anyway, one time I was like, this recruit requests permission to go to the bathroom. And he's like, is it an emergency? And he could probably call me a name. And I was like, yes, sir. So I had to run around the barracks with the flashlights, the red and the blue flashlight going, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo.
Wee woo, wee woo,
yeah,
wee woo.
Because it was an emergency. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. Yep.
But also, the reason why the military fucks you up so much for being awkward. Okay, so like I mobbed out of Fort Bragg, which is in North Carolina. Okay, so before I went to Afghanistan, we did our like 2 months or whatever it was there, and we were staying in these fucking like World War II barracks.
Mm.
Like they're old as shit. Like in the center, they're like, it's so creaky and people are like, don't fucking step there. Like walk around that shit. The bathrooms were so awesome because you would walk into this room that was like, I don't know, 6 feet by 6 feet. And somehow there's like 4 or 5 toilets on one side and 4 or 5 toilets on the other side. There are no dividers. There are no walls. There's nothing to avert your gaze. All it is a bunch of dudes in a room shitting. That's all that is. And it's amazing because you'll go, it's like 2 a.m. You wake up, you go in there. There's one other guy in there. In any other world, where social cues are a thing, you're just gonna be like, I'm gonna wait. In the military, you walk in there confidently and you sit down either directly in front of that person who's already in the bathroom or directly next to the one that's already in there. And me personally, I'm across the guy. I'm going to sit across from you. I think it's more of a power move because you're just like, now I am making eye contact. Like, what's up, dude? How's your day been, man? How's your family? Like, you're just sitting there having a conversation. Like sitting next to them is more friendly. It's like kind, like your legs are like touching. Like you go through shit like that. You think you understand how to navigate through social interactions? Like,
nope.
Sorry, motherfucker. Like you're fucked up. Like,
oh man.
So I mean, it was so hard because again, how do I understand? You know, when I come home, the scale for things being socially awkward is just different now.
Yeah.
It's different. That's why when you get back, you don't feel like you can say anything. You're limiting what you can say, and you're limiting how much of yourself you feel like you can be, like your authentic self. I feel like that only leads to you being more awkward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I had one of those stories too.
What's that?
Where I sat down in front of somebody and he goes, dude, why right there? And I looked at him because I want to whisper sweet nothings to you.
That's the only way to make it better is to sit next to them and just be like, hey.
Hey, buddy.
Just like whisper. Oh, well, and so I don't know. I feel like most of the time I'm awkward in the workplace. Like my first job when I got out of the military that was straight civilian. One of my first jobs, it just felt super awkward in the workplace because it was just a lot of fake conversation. Like everybody's talking about the weather. You know what I mean? I'm just like, all right. Like it just feels fucking weird.
Yeah.
You know, so I didn't feel, every interaction felt awkward because like, what am I gonna walk up to you and say? Like, I feel like part of the demob process needs to be a class where somebody's like, hello, everyone. I'm Specialist Peterson, and I'm here to teach you guys how to talk to civilians. And I'm going to teach you what to say and like what not to say in social situations. So like situation A, you know, you're sitting around the water, you're walking around the water cooler, standing around the water cooler. Something that's okay to say is, you know, like, how about that weather? How about it? That's okay. What's not okay is like, the lizard people that run our government need to get back to the hollow earth where they came from, right, Janice? It's like, nah, man, you can't be talking about that kind of shit.
Yeah.
You start talking about the maximum effective range of a 50 caliber machine gun, point on target, stuff like that. People are like, yo, what the fuck is up with a new guy?
It's weird.
You can't say that kind of shit.
No.
You know what I mean? Unless you're in a group like ours.
Yes.
You can say whatever the fuck you want.
Bunch of degenerates, dude.
Oh, that's right.
It's awesome.
Again, we've talked about the peer support groups, and like when we have new vets come to our peer support groups, I tell them, like, all right, our Friday group is at Uplifted Cares Grief Center. It is, you know, there's like a little fireplace in the background. It's more relaxed and things. The Monday night group,
Wild West.
Mad Max. Like the shit that you hear in there sometimes, you're like, man, this is fucking, it's great.
Yes.
It's great. But it's definitely not stuff you can talk about around anybody else.
But nobody else would understand either.
Also true.
And that's why, you know how many times I told people about like, you know how you get out of boot camp, you're like, oh, dude, this is what happened. And people are, oh my God, that's awful. I'm like, no, it's hilarious. What do you mean that's awful?
So hilarious.
So people don't understand. Like,
yeah. Well, our sense of humor is warped. And then when you deploy or whatever you do, like anywhere you go, you know what I mean? Like you experience any sort of pain, you experience any sort of trauma in an environment like that, you know, it makes it even harder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because your sense of humor is just so fucking out there. You got to be able to laugh at fucked up situations.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, did you feel really awkward at school?
At college?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
I don't know.
No, yes, I felt super awkward.
Because you're also a considerate person. So I'm like, maybe everything was fine.
No, it was okay. It just felt weird because I couldn't be myself because of the nature of the school that I went to.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
But for the most part, when you got back, do you feel like you've always been socially awkward? Do you think it was worse when you got back from or when you were finished up with the Marines? Like, what do you think?
Well, I've always just thought I was pretty funny, but turns out, fun fact, no, I don't know, dude. I think I've always just been kind of I was like an awkward kid. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't really think of a time when I was younger when I was awkward, except for
I can remember many times when I was younger and I was fucking awkward. Mostly, almost all of them involve girls.
Yeah.
I think. Well, so first... What?
You just sparked a memory. I remember an awkward moment.
Yeah, what is it?
It comes with a nickname.
All right, send it.
Bloody Nose Brad.
Let's hear it.
It was I don't know, 5th grade, maybe 6th grade. I don't know if my mom was listening. Mom, if you're listening, I was 20 when this happened.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, we went in for a kiss and I didn't know you were supposed to turn your head and we like bumped faces, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know which one of us got a bloody nose, but I was bloody nose Bradford.
I like how we've talked about like weed, mushrooms, all this other stuff. And you're like, listen, Mom, all right, if you're listening.
You know what?
Earmuffs. I almost kissed a girl.
It was once time.
Pretty big deal. Yeah. But the thing about it is, dude, is like that's a common like kind of joke. Like, I mean, a lot of people when you're younger and you don't know what you're doing and you're in a situation like that and you go in for the kiss and then you like hit the other person or hit your teeth or whatever the fuck. Like, yeah, that's a joke for a reason because it's like a common awkward situation that you find yourself in. And like, I think, dude, one of the worst ones. And I say that because like, I think about this one almost, I think every day. I was like either a freshman or a sophomore and it was at winter ball and there was this girl sort of had a crush on her. Didn't work out. It's fine. We're fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're fine. I asked her, I'd like never really gone on a date with her or anything. And I asked her to go to like winter ball or whatever dance it was with me. And I brought her. She said yes. And I brought her. And I didn't go with a group of people. We didn't go with a group. I think it was just us two. And the entire night, like 3 hours, I apologized to her I just apologized to her for 3 hours.
For what?
I don't know, Brad. I don't know, bro. If I did, I wouldn't be thinking about it for fucking 25 years or whatever. Like, dude. And it was because I knew she wasn't having a good time. And so I was just like apologizing for it not being a good time. And then I was apologizing for like apologizing. It was like Inception, bro. Like I just fell deep into this hole of apologizing. And I needed to find a totem in fucking Leonardo DiCaprio to get me out of it, dude. It was so bad. And the reason why it was so embarrassing is because most embarrassing moments, if you're lucky, they last for like a second or two. Like they really don't last that long. I had to live this for 3 hours. And I'm just like, man, I know it's not getting any better. I know I'm not getting I just could not stop apologizing. It was the most awkward moment that I've ever had to live through.
That just made me feel awkward. Like I just
like it makes the hair stand up.
Yes, I just feel.
Yeah.
And man.
And there's also been awkwardness through failure, I think. So like getting older, starting stuff, doing stuff with a nonprofit. There's been times where we've done events, like especially in the early days where you did an event and it didn't go well. And you have to like live with it. Like you have to sit there while this event's going on for the projected time that you said it was going to go on for, and it's not going very well. So like that's awkward as fuck because you just have to stand there and like act like things are going great. You know what I mean? And
it's fine.
And you're like that dog. It's on our cover photo. Like I'm fine. This is fine. And everything's fucking on fire. So yeah, I think that I don't know. I could go on for the next fucking 3.5 hours with stories about me being socially awkward, but those are some of my worst ones. I think some of my worst ones.
I've told some pretty bad stories.
So when we look at exploring the impact that being socially awkward has on your mental health, what we found is that social awkwardness can lead to feelings of isolation, loneliness, and low self-esteem, and can lead into social anxiety disorder, among other mental health issues like depression and stuff like that. So yeah, like if you're awkward, you're going to start guilting yourself. And then it's going to make you feel like a piece of shit. And then you're not going to want to go out. And then you don't go out, you isolate, you become lonely. Totally understandable how all that stuff can happen. And like, so fucking another got another story for you,
all
Brad.
right.
Got another story for you about being fucking awkward. And this one happened like a few weeks ago. Like this one didn't happen that long ago.
Oh man.
So what I did, it was after, I think it was like a Friday night or Saturday night. My family and we all went out and my wife's parents, we went out to get dinner at a local restaurant. It's called Beef O'Brady's. And you know Beef O'Brady's.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have an arcade now. Have you been to their arcade?
No, they like updated it, right? The restaurant?
Yes.
Yeah, I've been there. No, I haven't been there since Eve.
It's like what would you call it? Like a pub. It's like a pub style type of restaurant.
Okay.
And then they got a side arcade, and the arcade is it's like the perfect size for 2 toddlers. Like, cause you go over there, they got just enough games and just enough stuff to keep them busy. Like if you're waiting for food to come, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like we were going back and forth all night between the arcade and then sitting at the table and eating, and the kids were just getting amped up, I think. And they were hitting that point in the night where like it was the point of no return. Like, all right, we got to get these kids the fuck out of here. And so we got them into the arcade, and they were like just breaking down, like the wheels were fucking coming off. And so I'm already like anxious as fuck because I'm in public with my kids, and I've talked to you about it before. It's just, I get so fucking zoned in, and I don't know, the hypervigilance and all the other bullshit. Like it's a difficult thing for me to navigate sometimes. And so we're sitting down having dinner, earlier on, and I see these people that I know that walk in. I know them from the business side of things, like just from coming across them at like networking events and other types of shit like that. And I saw them, but they didn't see them. And so, you got to do that thing where it's like, oh, okay, they didn't see them. So I can either try to get their attention now, or I can like look down, pretend I didn't see them, wait for them to see me, and then I act like I see them and I didn't see them before.
Perks of being blind. I don't ever see anybody.
Or you just say, I'm fucking blind. You could also do that. So I see that they're in there, but we don't notice each other, right? So we go to eating, and then again, fast forward to my kids are being kids. They're really just being kids. But I was having a hard time dealing with it. And so they were in the arcade, and I was like, all right, we got to get them the fuck out of here. So we get the kids, we're walking out, and I'm walking by that table where those people were sitting at. And I was like I said, I know those people, they know me, but for whatever reason, instead of me talking to them or saying anything to them, I just like, as we left the arcade, I held one of my daughter's hands and I just like looked at her, and I didn't say anything, and we just walked out of the restaurant. I didn't say anything because in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm super anxious right now. I'm not going to be a good conversationalist right now. Like I'm looking like I just threw on some clothes because I fucking did, because we just knew we needed to get out of the house and do something with our family super quick. And I just don't feel like I'm in the right place to like just have this interaction right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, so I didn't say anything. And I just walked out with my daughter. I walked right by their table. The second I fucking left the restaurant, I just got hit by a wall of fuck you. Like just immediately like low self-esteem. Like, you are such an idiot. Why did you do that? You're so fucking awkward. Don't go outside anymore. Just stay in your fucking house. Just like go in your basement, record your podcasts, and don't ever leave ever again. Like, I'm just like, why do I do these things? And then and I get frustrated myself, and I take it out on like my wife or somebody else. I'm like angry now because I did something socially awkward, and I didn't feel like I navigated the situation very well. You know what I mean?
Happens to the best of us, man.
Well, and I talked to my therapist about that type of stuff and that incident in particular. And again, one of the things she told me that we'll talk about a little later, she was just like, hey, worst case scenario, like what's the worst case scenario? And I was like, well, they think I'm a dick. And she was like, all right, maybe they just think you're a dick then. That's not that bad of a thing. Like, it's really not that bad of a thing. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. It's really not that bad of a thing. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to intentionally be rude and inconsiderate. It's just, if I do something in public and I'm socially awkward and somebody thinks less of me because of it. Well, if they would think less of me because of it, they probably don't know me super well. And so I shouldn't take offense to it because they don't know me that well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If otherwise they'd probably let it slide. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should let it slide either way. I know it's easier said than done, obviously.
I agree. Well,
but I mean,
I agree though. I mean, I think that's part of it is just a part of, like, if you've ever been socially awkward, whenever you see somebody else being socially awkward, like, you should like help them out.
Yeah. Just like embrace
we've all
it.
been there. Let them fucking be awkward and it's fine. And don't make a big deal about it and don't make them feel bad about themselves.
Yeah.
I think that's the worst thing you can do. When you're watching somebody else be socially awkward, the worst thing you can do is like bully them, I think, which is hard in the military community because it's pretty much all fucking bullying. Like, that's all anybody does with anybody else's bully.
Yeah.
But
different kind of bullying though.
Yeah, most of the
It's
time.
like a love bullying.
Yeah. Like a familial type of thing, right? But I mean, I definitely understand, again, how it would make you feel terrible about yourself. Because after I am awkward, I feel fucking terrible. You know what I mean? You just feel terrible about yourself. And you're just, like, your self-esteem just immediately goes to shit. And so I understand, just how something as silly as being awkward can actually have a pretty significant effect on your own mental health. How do you think, Bradford, that we can challenge the stigma of being socially awkward?
Love unconditionally. I mean, that's pretty much the answer to a lot of the world's problems, I feel.
It's amazing how much of the time I think something could be fixed or severely improved by just not fucking judging somebody.
Yeah.
And then just like accepting them. Even if you don't love them, you don't have to love everybody as much as I think you just need to accept everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because even if I don't like you, I don't hate you.
Yeah.
It's not even that I don't like people. It's just, we're not like, I think Tupac has a fucking quote about this where it's like, I still want you to eat, just not at my table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, fucking, yep, that's exactly what it is. Like, hey, I wish you the best in life. It's just, I got my table and you're not at my table. And that's fine. We're both fine, but that's just, that's just a fact of life. So I think that by just accepting other people and just, again, not making them feel bad for being quirky. Like, everybody has their quirks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I say that all the time about people that ask about like us or when they come around the fucking fat family or anything. I'm like, hey, man, we are a quirky group of motherfuckers, man. And it's fine. It's fine because you have to accept each other. And when you see that, it just makes you feel a little bit better. It makes you feel a little more at ease, a little more authentic.
Yeah.
Because I've watched people that act one way in the business community side of things, and I'm that way too. But when they come around all of us, they're like, oh, cool, I can like fucking let my hair down a little bit. Like, I can be who I am and just be accepted, because for whatever reason, we all feel like we have to act like this other fucking thing and to be accepted, but we're all doing it.
Yeah.
Which is what the crazy thing is. Like, we're all acting, I feel like, a little fake. And then we're like, this feels weird.
Yeah.
Like, why are we fucking doing this?
It's a status thing. And it's weird because like everybody knows that it's weird.
Yep.
But we still continue to be weird about it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's a huge status thing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But I think so. Yes, I agree with you. I think to challenge the stigma of socially awkward, you're not going to get rid of socially awkward moments.
No.
It's not going to fucking happen.
No.
It's impossible. What you can control is just fucking accepting other people.
Yeah.
And letting them be a little quirky. You know what I mean? And if it gets to a point where it's problematic, you've talked to them in a tactful way or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I agree with you on that. Or start like maybe it'd be the worst idea or the best or the funniest, a peer support group for socially awkward people.
We could do that.
I guess we kind of already have that.
We kind of
I guess that's our peer support group. Might as well be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. I think that there's oftentimes a lot of shame that's associated with social awkwardness. And the other thing about it is like, it's so common and it's such a normal experience that people face. So it's like, that should takes some of the stigma out of it, knowing that like it's okay if I'm a little awkward, because like we read earlier, it could turn into social anxiety disorder and depression and the feelings of loneliness, isolation, low self-esteem. Like that's all significant shit. So, I mean, you have to figure out how to deal with it a little bit and at least like start putting some things in place and start checking yourself. Just be like, hey, even if I was a little socially awkward there, okay, it's okay. I just need to give myself a little grace. And fucking tell myself it's all right. It's okay to act like a little fucking quirky once in a while.
Yeah.
Can't make myself
you're
feel
human.
bad.
You're gonna, I think if you're not goofy, there's something wrong with you. Not even something wrong with you, but like nobody's like, you know what I'm saying?
Everybody has something.
Yeah.
I think everybody has some kind of quirk.
Goofy, weird. Yeah.
But when you get to know somebody and you get to know their quirks, I think it makes a relationship more beautiful because like you get to really know who they are as a person.
Yeah.
And then I feel it makes me feel good because it means to me, I'm like, oh, cool. You feel comfortable enough to be yourself around me. That's really cool. I'm glad that I make you feel that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's a gift. I think that, so yes. So understanding that's a normal experience many people face. Being compassionate and non-judgmental towards yourselves and others. Those are all really good things that you can do to challenge that stigma. So some tips for overcoming social awkwardness. And this is back to that King University Online article. So here are some tips for how to not be so fucking awkward. Practice small talk like we talked about. I don't like this. I don't like this.
Yeah.
This is what the article said. And I get it. Okay, sure, it works, but it just feels weird.
Yeah.
Like I would almost rather say nothing at all than like, again, like, fuck, it was fucking weather, right?
Dude, I have a story about So of course, I'm blind, right?
What?
Yeah. Surprise. So we're walking and it's Amanda and I and my mom, and there's a gentleman and he's outside and he said, "Oh, nice weather we're having." And I'm just going, "That's great. All right, yeah, super nice." In my blind visually world, I thought he had gone inside. And I go, "God damn, why do people always talk about the weather?" and Randy goes, "Brad, shut up." I was like, "Oh, Jingo."
The fact that he was standing right there and you just like yelled that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That sounds like, I just got some like really fucking big Adam Sandler movie vibes from that situation. Like that's awesome. That's funny.
I was so super. It was great.
So practice small talk. Practice small talk.
Yes.
If you live in Illinois and you're socially awkward, a way to practice small talk is to practice saying this. Fucking bears. What the fuck? Like you'd say that. You could probably say that in any social circle to any age, and somebody would be like, fucking, I know.
Except for like the people who are around in 85.
Yeah.
They would not be. They'd be like, "Yeah, the good old days."
Yeah, the fuck. Oh, that's another thing that makes me feel awkward.
What?
When people talk about the good old days, and I'm just saying,
dude, you always talk about the good old days. What are you talking about?
Like, I'm talking about the the ones that happen to be fucking 85-year-old white men. Like those guys, when they're talking about the good old days before, you know, people of color and women could vote and like all that stuff. But like, man.
Oh, whoa, I was talking about the 85 Bears. Like the team that won the Super Bowl.
Tomato. Tomato. No. But you know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are like these people will post up on social media all the time, like back in the 50s, we respected our elders. And I'm like, fucking yeah. And black people had to go to a different school. Like you were killing it. You guys were doing great.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? It wasn't that great, man. Like you look at it through rose-colored lenses, and it makes it super socially awkward.
Yeah.
Because you have people that think that was the best and they talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That when you have that big of an age gap, sometimes it also makes things fucking awkward. So practice small talk.
Yep. Yeah.
Practice small talk. Another one, make an effort to make eye contact, which we both suck at. we both suck at for different reasons.
What am I looking at?
Right? I'm not good at it. You're not good at it. So again, this is one that's probably not, I don't know. I agree. I know I need to make more of an effort to make eye contact. I try to do that more. It just feels weird to me sometimes just staring at somebody. Do you?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Well, I feel like people get that because I like, okay, so I'm like looking at you, right? But I can't really see you. So it's not like weird for me. Right. Because I can't.
You're still, but you're facing me.
Yeah, and it probably feels like I'm like staring into your soul. Honestly, I'm probably looking at your forehead, dude. You're just a blurry blob of there. So it's like and most of the time I kind of still look around and don't even pay attention. So joke's on you.
You say, why do people always talk about the fucking weather? Like, I just love thinking about that. And in my mind, did you say it was outside at a nice park?
No, it was like right by his dude's house.
Okay, and I thought it was like a beautiful park.
No, I thought he'd gone inside. And okay, I will admit it was nice for like the time of the year. Like it was nice.
So you're admitting he was right. I hope he's listening.
Well, no, but everybody all the time, like great weather we're having, right? I'm like, Jesus,
because it's like, and we all know it's small talk.
Yeah,
we all know that it's like it's.
That's what everybody hit me with. That's what everybody hit me with at the benefit that I had when I had my benefit in 2018.
Yeah.
What a wonderful day. Couldn't ask for a better day.
That's just Midwest shit.
I'm like,
too.
Guys, do you know why we're here? Like, I can't see how I can feel how nice it is. Like, what? Like, come on.
Just trying to make conversation to get through an awkward situation.
Like, beautiful.
They're doing one of the tips.
Yep.
But it wasn't working.
I mean, it wasn't really an awkward situation. I mean, I guess it's kind of awkward. I don't know.
When you're at a when you are at an event that's inherently depressing, it's frustrating. We're here for somebody that lost something. We're here, or if you, like, same thing if you went to like a funeral or a wake, while we love the person, the thing that we are being a part of right now sucks. It's shitty. Yeah. So like you go into that with like this weird, can't come in all fucking smiles. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do I navigate through this? And I think in those, it's like acknowledging the elephant in the room, just being like, man, this fucking sucks. I'm so sorry we're dealing with this. I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. This fucking sucks. Yeah. And then moving on from it from there. I think you have to like at least acknowledge it. But making small talk makes sense because you don't know what else to say, because you don't want to say it sucks, because you know it sucks. But I don't want to say it in front of you because I'm like, I don't want to make him feel bad. Yeah. You know what I mean? I want him to feel like I support him.
That's fair.
And so I think that's why they would choose to do to fucking talk about the weather for 2 hours.
It's just everybody though. And you know, I'm like, people didn't talk to each other. Like people talked to each other. Yeah. But I had to see like everybody. See,
there's that humor.
I had to hear everybody. No, like it was everyone that came up to me like, couldn't ask for a better day. Great weather we're having today. Holy sunshine.
like sometimes when that happens, I feel like I'm in Get Out.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah. I feel like I'm in like, this isn't a real world.
Yeah, no.
This is weird. That's the 47th person to tell me about the fucking weather today.
I'm like, I know I can feel it, guys. I'm standing outside. Crazy.
Well, so now, okay. As far as tips for overcoming social awkwardness, the next one is arguably my favorite one. This is the one that I use, and it is focus on the other person. Ask questions, really listen to the answers. This will help you connect with them and help the conversation flow more easily. Excuse me. So yeah, I think that's, I totally agree. That one sounds great. Yeah. Especially because, okay, if I'm awkward or if I'm afraid I'm afraid that I will be socially awkward, if I just ask you questions and I'm not talking, you're talking. That's really easy to do. I can talk about, oh, you're a White Sox fan. Why? And like we talk
because crayons, Eric. Because crayons.
That's a great way to break up a socially awkward situation. You're a Sox fan. Fucking why? Like, and then don't say anything. But no. Okay. I comment on your shirt and then you tell me about it. And you're like, yeah, this is why I'm a Sox fan. Oh, that's really cool. I grew up watching this and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can keep asking them questions. You can get them to talk about themselves. You learn more about them. And it makes you feel more at ease. Yeah. So I definitely agree. That's a good tip for overcoming social awkwardness, I think. And then the last one is try to relax and be yourself, which is a great tip. It's just, I think that's the hardest one to do.
Yeah.
Just relax and be yourself.
You don't want me to be me sometimes. Trust me, you don't.
You.
Well, I mean, you want me to be me, but like people in the real world don't want me to be me.
Real world?
Not that we like don't live in the real world, but like, come on, we got a pretty good bubble of like disgruntled veterans.
just well, disgruntled, slightly gruntled.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah.
it's honestly, it's just, you just feel like you're with what family is supposed to feel like.
Absolutely.
Just people that just accept you and it's fucking fine. And you can be awkward around me and I'm not going to make you feel bad about it. I'm just going to, whatever, we're going to fucking move past it.
Oh, yeah. We've had plenty of those moments.
We've had a couple. Hey,
Howdy, partner.
you texted me.
I did.
Howdy, partner.
I did text you.
I didn't say anything because I was like working or something. And then you immediately texted me back like, fuck, dude, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said howdy, partner.
I was channeling my inner Woody, I think.
But now, don't say that. Don't say that like that.
No, like, wait.
It's fine.
Bro,
it's
no,
fine,
what?
dude. Hey, it's okay.
I meant like,
dude, 2024, right? Does Amanda listen to this?
Something about your voice,
I
my
hope Amanda's not
friend.
listening.
I don't think she hasn't listened since like
Okay,
episode 3.
let me rephrase this. Don't be yourself. Do not relax. Do not be yourself.
I always resort to
because then you channel your inner Woody.
That's not what I was.
So let's talk about self-care and self-compassion. Perfect timing. No.
Oh,
So yeah, of course, if that was so easy, we would all be doing it.
Absolutely.
But it's just, we always feel like we're being judged.
Yeah.
We feel like we can't be authentic. And so, if you can relax and be yourself, great. But if, you're having a hard time in those situations, in my opinion, focusing on the other person is one of the easiest things I think that you could do. That and like making small talk, because I get that too.
yeah.
So if you are dealing with social awkwardness and you need some support, you need some connection, it's really important that you get that support and connection from your peers, your friends, mental health professionals if you need. Because again, your friends are supposed to be that. Your friends are supposed to be the people that you can be yourself around, and you should be able to talk about whatever you're dealing with to them. I think I mentioned it before. One of my best friends said this to me about how pretty sure he said this to me about how he knew we were. One of the things about being best friends or really good friends with somebody is that you can just be in the same room and not talk to each other for like however long. You know what I mean? And it's fine. You're not really even thinking about it. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not awkward. And I was like, fuck yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? I think that too. So you got to be able to talk to your friends. Also, some other good ideas. Check out like some support groups. There are support groups out there. We have a great one. If you're in Kankakee County, Monday nights at 7 p.m. at Guardian Concepts, Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. at Guardian Concepts, and Fridays at noon at Uplifted Cares Grief Center.
And the new ones that our wives just started.
Yes, and our wives are starting a spousal peer support group, a veteran spousal peer support group. I believe it's this month. It's March. It's
24th.
The last Sunday.
Yep.
Yes. And if you want more information about that, check out projectheadspaceandtiming.org or our Facebook page, Project Headspace and Timing. But finding a peer support group it's really nice if they're doing it right, I think, because you walk in and you're like, everybody here is looking for the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're all just looking to be accepted. That's why we're here. You know what I mean? And so knowing that, it feels good. So I definitely encourage you, if you can, find like a support group. And if that's not your deal, that's fine. Check out the therapy options. You can talk to a therapist. There's a lot of online options. The online communities, I don't know, kind of 50-50 on when it comes to something like this. Like, I understand how it could help, but I feel like it could really, I don't know. It's also...
People online are ruthless.
Ruthless.
Like, did I use that word right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good. Okay.
Yeah. Like,
right.
like comment threads
Yeah.
are just so,
Yeah.
it makes you feel ashamed sometimes when you read these. You're like, jeez.
Side note for a support group, if you're trying to look for one but can't find one, I know a lot of people who've gone to AA support groups, even though they don't have a drinking problem, just for like the support aspect of it. So there's always that option as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump backwards, but
No. There's lots of great groups, AA, NA, or you can, start your own. There's lots of nonprofits out there that have support groups of some kind. Again, if you're in the Kankakee County area too, and not a veteran or any association with a veteran, the Mental Health Network, I believe the Mental Health Network in Kankakee County, or is it I can't remember what group it is, but I'll find out. There is a group that has like a peer support group for anybody that knows anyone with a mental health issue. So it's like,
there you go.
There's groups out there.
Oh, yeah.
You got to do a little digging or maybe start your own. You know what I mean? But groups, I think, can be really helpful with that. I think in person a little bit more than virtual. Like if you are severely, severely anxious, which is a whole other thing. That's stepping out of being socially awkward. If you can't leave, that's now social anxiety territory when you have that real fear. But I mean, I can see why online options are a nice little way to kind of dip into it a little bit, kind of have some interactions with people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let me see here. What are some other ways that you think somebody can actively work on building social skills and confidence? if they are having issues with being socially awkward.
Practice your inner self monologue.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, your inner Woody again.
No. That's only on.
You have an inner monologue?
That's only on days that end in Y.
Or the I'm Fine After Dark episodes.
Yeah, buddy. No, just like you ever like practice talking
yourself? I talk to myself. I think everybody talks to themselves.
Yeah, but
if you don't talk to yourself, that's weird.
Yeah, but do you ever like just practice? I don't know. Like sometimes I just like psych yourself up. Like, yeah, you got
Eminem 8 Mile style. Well, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Everybody does that.
Do that.
I intentionally try to make my inner monologue Morgan Freeman's voice as much as I can. Either Morgan Freeman's voice or who was Michael Caine.
Oh yeah.
Michael Caine, another, like, I wish that was my inner monologue. You know what I mean? If you think about it, you can make it your inner monologue, which is pretty great.
Make it whatever you want, man. It's inside your head.
And I talk to myself. I mean, of course, everybody talks to themselves. It's just how loud you talk to yourself. Is it just in here, or are you constantly doing it?
It's just in here. It's just in here.
Yeah. Like critiquing yourself, or
just a lot of. But like sometimes I'll have a full out conversation, and then I'll ask Amanda about it, and she'll be like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." I'm like, "No, I'm pretty sure we had this conversation."
You were talking to yourself.
It was just me.
Time.
Yeah, it was just. Because I changed my voice so much. I'm like, oh my gosh, how many people are in there?
Yeah, I do the same thing sometimes. I think it's all perfectly normal.
Yeah.
Well, as normal as we are.
Yeah.
Some other ways that one could build social skills and confidence. So my thought, volunteering. I think volunteering is a great way to do that. So like one of my favorite examples of that, another amazing nonprofit organization, Sleep in Heavenly Peace. They're a national nonprofit organization, and all they do is build beds for fucking kids, man. They build beds for kids.
Yep.
That's the whole thing. They build beds and deliver them for free for any kid that doesn't have a bed. Like, who's not for that? You know what I mean? Like, that's a really cool organization. It sucks that there's that much of a need.
Yeah.
But I'm so thankful that they exist. And we get to partner with them, and we get to do stuff with them all the time. And so, like, if you go to a volunteer event, if you go to build the beds, there's a lot of activity going on. There's a lot of stuff. You're doing things, right? So you don't have to worry so much, in my opinion, about being awkward, especially if you're the type of person that hyper focuses on things, because you're doing this task. I'm sawing this thing. I'm staining this thing. I'm drilling a hole, like whatever I'm doing, I'm focusing on that. And then I'm having some light conversation in the middle, right? Like you and me are working on this headboard or whatever. And we're talking a little bit because we have to communicate, right? So it's nice and it's easy and it's light. And then afterwards, we all did this really cool thing. We built like 40 beds for 40 kids. So we get to sit there and talk about that. So it's like, if you're socially awkward, you can get yourself into situations like that and you won't feel so awkward. Because even if you are being awkward, people are going to respect and appreciate the hell out of you because you showed up to build beds for kids.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
people aren't going to be a dick to you just because you're a little awkward. So, I mean, I think volunteering is a really good idea.
Yep.
And even if, again, getting more into the social anxiety territory, volunteering with animals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We recently linked up with a horse farm. Shout out to the Haymaker Horse Ranch. They are this amazing horse farm. They let us bring veterans out there just to like help take care of the horses. And it's really calming. It's really peaceful. And so, again, if you're socially awkward, maybe you can start getting around more animals too. That'd be a cool thing. Other than that, other opportunities. What are some other opportunities for social interaction? Like if you were having problems being awkward, it would be good to be in. Like I was like going to a movie with people.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's that great because you don't get to talk at all.
Yeah.
Until afterwards, then you can talk about the movie.
About the movie, yeah.
So it's not so bad.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anywhere? Just
Anywhere.
practice. I think just be yourself, man. And if because people are either they're gonna like you or they're not gonna like you, and you can't control how people feel. The only thing you can do is be you. And if you're goofy and awkward, and you think like me, like I don't know, I always thought I was just freaking hilarious. Like I said earlier, but I'm not. I'm not. I'm just weird.
Just all I keep thinking about is, why do people keep talking about the fucking weather? Like, that's all I keep thinking about.
I mean, I didn't yell like that loud, but I definitely said it loud enough.
In the memory that I made in my brain, you fucking yelled it.
That's
like,
fair.
Oh my God. I love that.
But no, just like be you. You know what I mean? Just be you. And people are going to like you for you, and they're not going to like you for you. And who cares?
Just treat other people like you would want to be treated.
Yeah.
Just fucking relax a little bit. Understand everybody's a little awkward.
Yes.
And it's fine. It's fine. So other than that, what else? Do you have anything else to say about being fucking awkward?
I think I pretty much covered that.
I think we killed it.
Wee woo, wee woo.
Wee woo, wee woo. Channeling your inner Woody. That wasn't even a story. That just came up.
I wasn't even.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it did. Just pop right up.
There we go.
Yeah.
I got to figure out which buttons do what. So please make sure if you're listening to this episode, you practice a little self-compassion. You seek support if you need it and take small steps forward to improve your social skills and confidence. Baby steps, incremental ones, and celebrate those wins. Even the small wins, they're fucking wins. So be happy about it. Celebrate that. Thank you again for listening to another episode of the I'm F.I.N.E podcast. Thank you to our partners at Trio for their participation and support. So please listen, subscribe, leave reviews, share the episode. If you'd like to leave us any feedback, questions, suggestions for future episodes, feel free to reach out to us on our Facebook page, the I'm F.I.N.E podcast, or Project Headspace and Timing's Facebook page, or projectheadspaceandtiming.org. And that's a great way to end an episode about being socially awkward. We hope we helped you. We hope we helped a little bit in going from being freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional, being fine. All right, now let's see if I actually did record it.
Don't even play right now.